Hey, this is Nutty Watch and this is Nutty Watch 2. So if you're watching this, thank you very much for subscribing to my second channel. It's much appreciated. Today's topic of the day is oh, I knew there would be one like that. Somebody would post something like that. Hopefully this won't be seen as disrespectful, because I don't want to ask you what you've done sexually, because that would be crass. But what's the most bizarre situation you've been in that ended up being sexual? If you're offended, please ignore. Okay, let's see if we can come up with a couple of stories for you. I suppose how I met my first two boyfriends is kind of a story about something that ended up being sexual, so we'll go with that. My first boyfriend dated my best friend before he dated me, and I actually dumped him for her, and the last thing I said to him was "see you around," and every time he sent me a card he put "see you around, kiss kiss kiss" at the bottom. We were together for 1.5 years, so that was kind of a really random situation that ended up becoming a relationship. My second boyfriend, I was walking home from my mum's to my dad's after my parents divorced, and car alarm went off. Because I looked round thinking, what? And this bloke kind of jumped back. He was obviously slightly tipsy, and he sort of said, "Oh no, if the guy comes out shouting, will you tell him that it was you that set the alarm off so that he doesn't try and have me arrested?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And we ended up talking, and I wrote my number down on his hand, and he said he woke up the next morning and it took him about an hour to actually remember, because he was slightly tipsy. Tipsy meaning drunk, by the way. So yeah, that ended up being 2 very hot summers, which were very much fun. At one point, me and this other girl were actually competing for this one guy. And we were in the pub one night, and we obviously gotten progressively more drunk at this point. And we were all sat around the table, and like both of us were looking at him, going, "Look, you've got to choose, because this is crazy." And he just went, and me and her kind of looked at each other and went, "Yeah, go on then." So, yeah, that ended up being a very interesting experience. She actually ended up living with me for 6 months in the end, and he ended up with neither of us. Random things that ended up being sexual. I think that's probably the most random. Yeah, without getting into like real details, which I'm not gonna do because obviously it's not suitable for YouTube. But yeah, there you go. That's the answer to your question, Mr. Spazphoenix. I'll see if you've got any numbers after your name, because I can never remember if you do or if you don't. Double check it. I think it's just spazphoenix. Yep, spazphoenix from Brampton, Ontario, Canada. So that's the answer to your question.